not letting my daughter's husband see her after her birth. I am a 47-year-old mother, and I want to tell you about a very difficult time my family is going through right now. My daughter, Layla, is 24 years old. She just had her first baby, little girl we have all been waiting for with so much excitement and hope. But instead of the joy that usually fills a new mother's heart, our home feels heavy and tense. The happiness that should have surrounded us is clouded by worry, disagreements, and sadness. Layla and her husband, Matt, who is 27, have been having some serious problems. Their biggest fight has been about the baby's name. It sounds like a small thing, but it has caused so many tears and arguments. Matt wants to name their daughter something unusual, something that I find very hard to understand. He wants a name like October as her first name. Not something simple and classic like May or June, which are also names of months, but soft and common. No, Matt wants a name that feels loud and different, like the name of a month that is bold and strong. Then, to make things even more complicated, he wants a middle name that is a color, but not a pretty color like violet or scarlet. He has chosen a color name that I would not even call beautiful. Layla, on the other hand, wants to give her daughter a practical, gentle name. She wants something that will suit a normal life, not a name that could make her child stand out in ways that might make things hard for her. Layla has always been the kind of person who thinks deeply about the future. She wants her baby to have a name that feels safe and loving, not one that will bring attention for the wrong reasons. Because of this disagreement, the couple has been going to marriage counseling. The counselor tries to help them communicate better, to find common ground, and to heal the hurt feelings. But nothing has really worked. The counseling sessions end with the same tension they had when they started. Neither side is willing to give up their own idea. The name, a detail that seems small to some people, has become a symbol of their larger struggles: trust, respect, and control. A week ago, Layla gave birth. It was supposed to be a moment of pure joy, a new life coming into the world, a fresh start for our family. But things did not go as planned. After giving birth, Layla had complications and had to stay in the hospital longer than expected. She was very weak and not fully aware of everything going on around her. The medication made her drowsy, and she was not able to speak clearly or make decisions. During this time, Matt was not at the hospital. He was several hours away, caught up in his own world and problems. I was there by Layla's side, holding her hand, helping her with everything she needed, and making sure she was safe. One day, I had a phone call with Matt. I asked him what they had decided to name the baby. His answer shocked me. He told me the name he wanted without even discussing it with Layla or considering her feelings. I knew immediately that Layla would not agree to this name. It was a decision that was supposed to be made together, as a couple, especially for something as important as a child's name. So, I made a choice to protect my daughter and her rights. I did not tell Matt which hospital Layla was in, and I refused to let him come and sign any papers that would make the name official. Without his signature, he could not legally become the father on the birth certificate. When Layla finally woke up and understood what was happening, she thanked me. She was grateful that I had not allowed Matt to take away her chance to have a say in her child's future. But this caused another problem. Matt, feeling hurt and rejected, has stopped coming to see his baby. He has refused to visit the hospital or the house. What should have been a time of bonding and celebration has turned into weeks of silence and separation. Instead of celebrating the new baby, we have been dealing with angry phone calls and texts from Matt's family. They have been bombarding Layla with messages, trying to pressure her into allowing Matt to visit. It is all very stressful and painful for her. The joy of becoming a grandmother is mixed with worry about my daughter's marriage and the future of my granddaughter. Now I am beginning to wonder if I have made a mistake. Was I wrong to keep Matt away from his baby? Did I go too far by not telling him where we were or by not letting him sign the birth papers? I want to protect my daughter and her happiness, but I also want the baby to have a father who loves her. Feel stuck in the middle of something very painful, unsure if I did the right thing or if I caused more harm than good. After the first shock of the birth and the complications, life slowly started to settle in the hospital room. Layla was still weak, but she was recovering. The baby, a tiny, fragile girl with dark eyes and soft hair, lay in a bassinet beside her bed. I remember how Layla would reach out her hand to touch her daughter's tiny fingers, her eyes filled with both love and worry. She was tired, but she smiled every time the baby stirred or cried. It was a beautiful moment that should have been, filled with happiness, but there was always a shadow lurking over us. Matt had been quiet for days. He did not call to ask how Layla or the baby were doing. He did not come to the hospital. I tried to understand what was going on with him. I thought maybe he was overwhelmed, or maybe he felt hurt because of the disagreement over the name. But I did not expect him to disappear from their lives during such a crucial time. One afternoon, as I sat beside Layla's bed, she told me about the messages she had been getting from Matt's family. She sounded upset and exhausted. "Mom," she said softly, "they keep calling and texting me, telling me I am being unfair. They say Matt just wants to be a good father, but he is being punished for no reason. It is so hard to deal with all of this." I held her hand tightly. "I know, sweetheart. This is very hard for all of us. But you did the right thing by standing up for yourself and your baby. No one should make such an important decision alone." Layla nodded, but looked tired and worried. "I just want this to be peaceful. I want Matt to be here, to meet our daughter. But he will not come unless I agree to his name. It feels like he is punishing me." I understood how much pain she was feeling. Watching your child go through heartbreak is one of the worst things a parent can endure. I wished I could take her pain away or fix the problems between them. But some things are beyond my control. One evening, a few days after Layla's birth, I had a phone conversation with Matt. I wanted to reach out and try to find some middle ground. Maybe if we talked calmly, we could find a way to bring him back to his family and help him be a part of his daughter's life. When I called, his voice was cold and distant. "Why are you calling me?" he asked sharply. "I want to talk about the baby," I said gently. "Layla is recovering and she misses you. The baby needs her father." Matt sighed deeply. "I am not coming until Layla agrees to the name. This is important to me. I will not back down." I tried to explain how a child's name should be a shared decision, something that both parents love. "Maybe you can think about a compromise, Matt. It is not worth losing your daughter over this." But he was firm. "I want what I want. I am the father. I have rights." That conversation left me feeling helpless and sad. I wanted so much for Matt to be part of our lives again, but his stubbornness was pushing him away. Back at the hospital, Layla and I talked about the future. "Mom," she said one afternoon, tears in her eyes, "I feel like this is breaking us apart. I thought we could handle anything, but this feels like the end." I held her close and whispered, "No, my dear, it is not the end. Sometimes families go through storms to become stronger. We will find a way." Days passed, and Matt's silence grew heavier. His family continued to call and text, but their words felt more like pressure than support. They did not understand that this was about respect and partnership, not just a name. I also worried about my granddaughter. She deserved to be surrounded by love and peace. I wanted her to grow up knowing her parents cared for each other and for her. But the tension in the house made that seem impossible. One afternoon, while feeding the baby, Layla confided in me, "I am scared, Mom. What if Matt never comes? What if this fight is more important to him than our family?" Her words broke my heart. I wished I could promise her that everything would be okay, but I did not know. To protect Layla, I kept Matt from finding out which hospital she was in. At the time of the birth, I thought it was the right choice. I could not let him rush in and make decisions that would hurt my daughter. But now I wondered if that had been too much. I had hoped that keeping him at a distance would make him realize the seriousness of the situation and bring him back with a better attitude. Instead, it seemed to push him further away. I asked myself, late at night, did I do the right thing? Was I protecting my daughter, or did I cause more harm? This question haunted me, even as I watched Layla hold her baby, trying to imagine a future where everything was calm again. The truth is, this time was supposed to be filled with joy. The joy of a new life. The joy of a family growing. But it became a time of pain, of arguments, of silence where there should have been laughter. I do not want to be the villain in this story. I want to be the mother who helped her daughter, the grandmother who welcomed her grandchild with open arms. But the struggle for the baby's name has become a symbol of so much more. Love, respect, control, and the fear of losing what is most precious. I am caught in the middle, hoping for a miracle that will bring us back together. As the days turned into weeks, the silence from Matt weighed heavier on all of us. The baby's cries echoed through the quiet house, but there was no sound of her father's voice or footsteps. I watched Layla grow more tired each day, not just from caring for a newborn, but from the emotional strain of feeling alone in this journey. The house, which should have been filled with laughter and celebration, felt empty and cold. One afternoon, Layla sat in her chair by the window, the baby asleep in her arms. She looked at me with tired eyes and said, "Mom, I never imagined this is how it would be. I thought Matt and I would be happy together, especially now with the baby. But instead, it feels like he has already given up on us." I wanted to comfort her, to tell her that everything would be okay, but the truth was, I did not know. I could see the sadness in her eyes, a sadness I had never seen before. It was a heavy kind of sadness, the kind that fills your chest and makes it hard to breathe. "I am trying to be strong," she continued, "but sometimes I feel so scared. What if this is the end of our family?" I took her hand gently. "Layla, families go through hard times. Sometimes the hardest storms teach us the most about love and forgiveness. I believe you and Matt can find a way through this if you both want to." She sighed deeply. "I hope so, Mom. But right now, it feels like he is more angry than ever. His family won't stop calling and texting me, blaming me for everything. They say I am keeping him from his daughter." "I know," I said quietly, "but you are protecting your right to have a say in your child's life. That is important." One evening, while Layla was resting, I sat down to write a letter to Matt. I hoped that putting my thoughts into words might reach him in a way that phone calls and arguments never could. I wrote about how important it was for him to be part of the baby's life. I told him that the name was just one small part of a much bigger journey, the journey of being parents together. I asked him to think about what really mattered, the love for his daughter and the chance to build a family. After I sent the letter, I waited anxiously. Days went by without a response. Then one morning, my phone rang. It was Matt. His voice was softer than before. "I got your letter," he said. "I have been thinking a lot." "Thank you for calling," I said, hoping this was a step toward healing. "I want to be a good father," he said, "but I still feel like I have been pushed away. I want to be part of their lives, but I don't know how to fix this." I told him, "The first step is to come see your daughter. She needs you now more than ever. The name can be discussed and decided together, but the baby needs her father." Matt was silent for a moment. "I will come," he said finally. "I want to try." When I told Layla, tears welled up in her eyes. "Really?" she whispered. "You think he will come back?" "I believe he will," I said with a smile, "but it will take time and patience." The next few days were filled with nervous excitement. We prepared the house for Matt's visit. I watched Layla getting ready, trying to look calm, but her hands trembling with nerves. When Matt arrived, he was quiet and unsure. He held the baby carefully, almost as if he was afraid to hurt her. But then I saw something change in his eyes. A softness, a warmth that had been missing. Layla and Matt talked long into the evening. They shared their feelings, their fears, and hopes. It was not an easy conversation, and there were tears, but it was honest and open. For the first time in weeks, I saw a glimpse of hope. Of course, the name was still a difficult subject. They did not solve that problem that night. But they agreed to keep talking, to listen, and to try to find a name they both loved. That night, as I tucked the baby into her crib, I felt a quiet peace. The road ahead would not be easy, but we had taken a first step toward healing. Watching Layla and Matt work together made me proud and hopeful. Families sometimes face storms, but with love and patience, they can find their way back to each other. The weeks following Matt's return were full of small but meaningful steps forward. It was not a magical fix. There were still tough conversations, quiet moments of doubt, and occasional disagreements. But slowly, the family began to heal. The baby's presence seemed to soften even the hardest hearts. Layla and Matt spent more time together, talking openly about their hopes and fears. They went back to counseling, this time with a new sense of purpose. The counselor helped them listen better, understand each other's feelings, and find compromises. The name remained a challenge, but they began exploring options that blended their wishes, looking for something that would feel right for both of them and their daughter. One afternoon, Layla came to me with a smile I had not seen in a long time. "Mom," she said, holding the baby close, "we finally agreed on a name. It is simple and beautiful. It feels like a fresh start for all of us." I felt tears of relief and joy. "That is wonderful, sweetheart. I am so proud of you both." Matt, who was nearby, nodded with a shy smile. "I am happy too. This baby deserves a name full of love." Watching them, I realized how important it was to protect not just the child's rights, but the parents' chance to build a family on respect and understanding. It was a hard lesson, but one that brought us closer together. The baby's name, which I will keep private out of respect for their choice, became a symbol of their willingness to listen and compromise. It was not the name Matt first wanted, nor the one Layla had initially chosen, but a new name they found together. It felt like a promise to work through challenges and to love their child unconditionally. Matt has been visiting regularly since then. He holds his daughter with care and speaks softly to her. I see him growing into his role as a father, learning and adjusting. He and Layla are not perfect, but they are trying, and that is what matters. I do not regret standing by Layla during those first difficult days. I believe every parent has a duty to protect their child's rights, especially when the mother is vulnerable. The birth of a child is a sacred time, and decisions about the baby should never be rushed or made without both parents' agreement. Yes, I worried that I might have gone too far by not telling Matt where we were or by blocking his immediate access. But I also know that it was necessary to make sure Layla's voice was heard and respected. Now, with the family slowly healing, I see hope for the future. Love is not always easy, and families do not always start out perfect. But with patience, kindness, and respect, they can grow stronger. This experience has taught me that sometimes we must stand firm to protect what is right, even if it means making difficult choices. And sometimes those choices open the door for healing and new beginnings. Layla, Matt, and their daughter still have a long road ahead, but they are walking it together. And for a grandmother like me, that is the greatest gift of all.